So coming into 2012, the Miami Heat were coming off just beating Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals. They had just signed Ray Allen from the Boston Celtics. LeBron was still in the prime of his MVP form. I think people expected them to be pretty damn good.
But I don't think anyone expected them to win 27 games in a row. Absolutely insane. This win streak had everything. Insane comebacks, clutch shots, and just some unreal LeBron James dunks.
Before we start talking about the Heat's winning streak, if you haven't already, make sure you leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. Alright, so the way we're going to do this, because we're not going to cover all 27 games of the win streak, we just picked out some games from the streak that we felt were notable and that we wanted to cover. So when the streak began, it's early February, the Heat, they're chugging along, they're 29-14, they're actually tied with the Knicks for the best record in the East, and they're only ahead of them on winning percentage.
Okay, Knicks, Melo and the Knicks, they contender this year maybe?
It was like the one year they were actually kind of
right.
good. The streak started in Toronto on February 3rd, though. This was actually the day of Super Bowl 47, which was the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. So, the blackout one.
How the hell does this happen? This is just insane.
I mean, for both teams, they didn't get to watch the Super Bowl.
Well, sometimes you gotta do your job and ball out, and that's what the big three did. They combined for 71 of the Heat's 100 points. LeBron had 30, Bosh had 28, Wade had 23, and really, they just dominated the Raptors in the second half.
Yeah, outscored them 56-35, just ran away with what was a close game.
Next notable game was win number 5 against the Lakers on February 10th, and really, if you think about it, this was the last big Kobe versus LeBron game, and Kobe, he had a decent game, put up 28 points, 9 assists, but LeBron and D-Wade were just absolutely insane this game. They both shot 12 of 18, and funny fact about this game, future President Donald Trump was in attendance.
Well, it's only about, an hour and a half down the road from Mar-a-Lago, so, he's there, getting some golf, and he's like, let me pop down to see a Miami Heat game.
See Kobe and LeBron go at it.
He was trying to get in on Florida early.
Okay. Fair point.
Yeah, the Lakers, they were in the middle of just a horribly disappointing season. This was the Nash, Kobe, Dwight team that just did not work. They were 3 games under 500 when they played this game. This was also the game that Nash and Dwight got into it on the court. And the Lakers, they played well for the most part. This was kind of the start of the Lakers the whole year. They were old and they started to fall apart in third and fourth quarters.
Shout out Earl Clark, though. We were talking about in our last video. We didn't know who the hell he was. Had a decent game this game. Shout out Earl Clark.
Good job, Earl. Moving on to Oklahoma City, win number 7. This was a rematch, of course, of the finals a year prior. It was the second game this season that the Thunder and Heat had played. The first one was on Christmas, and the Heat straight up dominated. The Thunder never led in this game, and the Heat led by as many as 23 in the third quarter. KD had 40, Russ had 26, but they got no help besides that.
KD had a decent game, but LeBron probably played even better. 39 points for Braun, 20 from Bosh. You get 13 from Wade and 13 from Ray Allen. Great LeBron and Durant duel, but he just dominated.
Thunder were missing James Harden.
They really were.
Kevin Martin wasn't
it.
He wasn't filling the void.
Win number 9 came on the road at the Bulls, and there wasn't a ton to note from this game, but we'll talk more about a game on the road against the Bulls later. The really big thing is the Bulls only scored 67 points. Really?
Really?
Classic early 2010s Chicago Bulls under Tibbs. Just can't score a lick. They played a great defensive game. They held the Heat to 86 points. They forced 17 turnovers. They just turned the ball over 26 times themselves.
Probably not going to win a lot of games doing that.
You're never going to win a game doing that.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Weird game for win number 12. At home against the Kings, the Heat won this game in double overtime because Marcus Thornton said, let me just go for 36.
Dude hit 8 threes. Where the hell did this come from? I know Marcus Thornton had a decent jumper, but 36 points and 8 threes?
Hey, he was a shooter.
Dude had the game of his life, though.
And they still lost.
Right. Yeah, they were fighting all night, and then you get to the second overtime, and they were just gassed at that point. They got outscored 17-5 in the second overtime.
I mean, that's a bad Kings team playing against the best team in the league. The fact that it got to overtime to begin with, that's an accomplishment enough in and of itself.
Yeah, they were probably just happy to be there.
Just happy to play the game against the Heat.
Right.
Also, just a little funny thing in the middle of this win streak. Anyone remember the Miami Heat Harlem Shake? They did that on the day they beat the Memphis Grizzlies for their 13th straight win. Like, as good as this Heat team was, they were goofy.
Yeah, they were goofy as hell. That's an all-time Harlem Shake. Like, if you look up Harlem Shake montages or compilations or whatever, you're always gonna find that Heat one. That one was iconic.
I always remember, you got LeBron, obviously, he's got his king attire.
Right.
And then you got Mario Chalmers dressed up as Mario.
Right. It was great. Now for the 14th win of the win streak, March 3rd, 2013, they go on the road and beat the Knicks. Melo started this game balling out, had 24 points in the first half. They led the Heat by 14 at halftime. They were feeling themselves. This is a matchup of the top two teams in the East. But again, the Heat in the second half, they outscored the Knicks 54-34, and LeBron capped it off with that breakaway dunk. Stole the ball from J.R. Smith. Iconic dunk from LeBron.
I was going to say, if you want to encapsulate the stereotypical LeBron tomahawk dunk, this is it.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's a breakaway. It's in the garden. He's all alone, cocks it back, and just hammers it through the rim to seal the game. Kind of another weird game for their 16th win of the win streak. Playing the Magic at home. This was the Magic's first year without Dwight Howard, so they were god-awful. They only had 17 wins at the time of this game. They pushed Miami to the very end, though. LeBron dropped 26, and he saved the Heat with a game-winning layup.
Well, Nikola Vucevic was giving this team problems.
This was kind of the Heat's weakness their whole time. Like, any team with size would give them trouble.
Yeah, I don't know how he balled out. This is before he was even like that good of a player, but he had himself a game. But LeBron sealed at the end. Now, one of the more memorable games in this win streak, it was win number 23, and it was on the road at the Celtics. Everyone remembers this game because one of the most disrespectful posters of all time on Jason Terry. The most disrespectful. Norris Cole and Mario Chalmers did him so dirty. They set him up for that.
Well, if you're Jason Terry, you got to turn around, see LeBron, and be like, you know what? Live to fight another day.
But that wasn't the only thing that happened this game, because LeBron James and Jeff Green had one of the more underrated duels all time. You have LeBron, who dropped 37 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds. And how about Jeff Green giving a 43-7?
Just the phrase LeBron and Jeff Green duel.
Never thought you'd hear the day.
Doesn't sound right.
Celtics jumped out to a double-digit lead in the first half, but that dunk on Jason Terry, momentum just completely shifted when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not?
Yeah.
He fucking body bagged him. The Heat closed the lead to 6 at the end of the first half, and within 2 minutes of the third quarter, they had taken the lead.
But the Celtics, they were able to bounce back in the fourth. They had a 13-point lead with 8 minutes to go, but then this Heat team always had a comeback out of nowhere, 22-7 run, and LeBron capped it off with that jumper on Jeff Green. Beautiful jumper he hit on him.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this was the first time LeBron did his stomp, pound his chest celebration, like the full thing. I could be wrong. Someone correct me if I am wrong, but this was the first time I remember it.
I think it's the first time, yeah, he did the full thing after hitting a big shot. And that celebration went hard as fuck.
It still goes hard as
It
fuck.
always will.
It will always go hard. You're talking about the Heat having comebacks. This next game was their best comeback by far, on the road in Cleveland, so obviously, you know, charged environment every time LeBron goes back to Cleveland. And a Cavaliers team without Kyrie Irving in the lineup built a 27-point lead with 7 minutes left in the third, starting Sean Livingston, Tyler Zeller, Tristan Thompson, and who else? I don't even remember who else.
I think it was Wayne Ellington and Alonzo G.
That is it.
So basically, no-namers. Couple things I need to mention about this game. First of all, those Cavs jerseys might be the ugliest jerseys in NBA history.
Oh, they're up there.
The mustard yellow literally makes me want to just puke.
They're bad.
And also, I was roasting him while we were watching the highlights. Luke Walton had no business being in the league. He was a minus 34 in this game. How is that possible?
Well, he was on the court when the Heat were coming back.
He was on the court and he got outscored by 34 points while he was on the basketball court.
He was off the court when the Cavs built the lead and on the court when they lost the lead.
Huh, funny that happened.
Like, Byron Scott, I think, was the coach of the Cavs at the time. You got to realize, like, all right, Luke, it's just not your night.
Yeah.
Heat were terrible in the first half, though. They shot 2 of 10 from 3, couldn't get anything to go down. I think they had a 10-point second quarter. The second half of the third quarter, though, and the fourth, just started hitting everything. They were 10 of 19 from 3 in the second half. LeBron had 19 second half points, and Ray Allen, Shane Battier, and Mario Chalmers were just hitting every 3 they got.
You really just forget kind of how dangerous this Heat team was, because LeBron, this is peak athleticism. Him in transition was insane. And then just his passing. He can find Ray Allen or Shane Battier out of nowhere. Also, nothing to note about this game. This was the game when that fan ran on the court. He had that shirt that said like 2014 come back LeBron or whatever it was. That dude single-handedly convinced LeBron to come back. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Well, we were talking earlier about Trump getting ahead of Florida. This dude was getting ahead of 2014 free agency.
They need to give that guy a 2016 finals ring.
Build him a statue. too.
Right.
The final game of the win streak was on the road against the Orlando Magic on March 25th. Really nothing to note about this game, except it was the game that LeBron video bombed Ray Allen with that goofy ass smile.
Such a goofy ass dude, LeBron. Fucking love that.
Dude, I think could genuinely be a comedian.
He could.
He's so fucking funny.
Now the night the win streak ended at Chicago on March 27th. They'd already beaten the Bulls like we talked about. They held them to 67 points last time, but Luol Deng was not going to let that happen tonight. The Bulls team wasn't great this season. They did have Luol Deng and some other guys, but Derrick Rose was injured all year, so Nate Robinson was hooping for him. But they started out hot, led by 13 points in the second quarter.
This is nothing the Heat hadn't seen, though. Just erased that lead, took their own lead back in the third quarter. But that's when this game started to get a little chippy. Jimmy Butler had a hard foul on D Wade on a fast break. And really, in the second half, the Bulls kind of just out-toughed the Heat.
Carlos Boozer and LeBron were beefing. He got that flagrant foul on him. The Heat big three, they showed up. They scored 71 of the Heat's 97 points. Problem is, no one really else did. And like I said, Luol Deng was hitting some big shots down the stretch.
I want to give credit to Carlos Boozer, though, because this was around the time he was getting a lot of heat for kind of going soft and just taking a bunch of jumpers. He had 21 points and 17 boards, and like you said, that flagrant foul that LeBron took on him, Boozer straight up squared up to LeBron and was ready to go.
He was ready.
And LeBron wanted no part of an angry Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, he had that offensive rebound and putback, which basically sealed the game. So Carlos Boozer, he could play a bit, but him and LeBron had beef back from when he was drafted in the Cavs days.
And yeah, the big three, like you said, they scored 71 of the Heat's 97 points, but this was also kind of one of the Heat's weaknesses, is that they weren't supremely deep, and if you could shut down everyone else, you were going to have success, and that's what the Bulls did. Meanwhile, Deng went off for 28, Boozer gave you 21, second year Jimmy Butler gave you 17, Nate Robinson 14 off the bench. The Bulls killed the Heat on the glass 43-31, and they end the 27-game winning streak 6 games short of the all-time record of 33.
They were so close. Couldn't quite get it done, though.
Some quick stats for the 27-game winning streak. Like we said, that's the second longest streak in NBA history, only behind the 1971-72 Lakers. If you want to go off technicality, then technically the Warriors had a 28-game winning streak, although that stretched across 2 seasons. So we're not counting that.
Yeah, we're not counting that. Hell no. Pretty impressive, though, but hell no. It was the most wins in a single month, with 17-1 in the month of March, a record that might never be broken. Nowadays, they spread out games a bit more. The Heat won 37 of their last 39 games, and by the end of the streak, they were, up on the Knicks by a half game, and that lead had gone to 11 games after the streak was over.
Yeah, they had that first seed on lock after this. Longest winning streak really in the modern NBA history, and it kind of gets overshadowed a little bit because the Heat had that epic NBA Finals against the Spurs, one of the best of all time, but this was an all-time accomplishment.
Yeah, the Lakers, obviously, they hold the record. What was it? The 72 Lakers had 33 wins in a row, but how many teams were in the NBA? Like 11?
And they were taking buses and trains to
Yeah,
games.
if that. And I don't know if this record, the 27 wins in the modern NBA, will be broken anytime soon. Like, sure, those Warriors teams, I thought maybe could have done it, but they didn't. I don't know if this will happen in the next 10, 15, 20, even like 30 years.
I was going to say, if the 73-win Warriors couldn't break the streak, because the NBA is kind of getting to the point where the talent is more spread out a little bit. There's not these like uber dominant teams anymore. I mean, hell, the Nuggets just won the title winning 53 regular season games.
Yeah, and people really don't care about the regular season anymore. This was a great moment where the regular season actually mattered for once.
That's the video, guys. What was your favorite memory from the Heat's 27-game winning streak? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.